This is Henry Sanders back with another episode of Real Talk. We want to thank our sponsors at Park Bank and also our friends over at Facebook, Project of Journalism. Thank you for all you're doing. If you want more of this content, please go to our YouTube page and check out all the other interviews we've had. It's been an interesting couple of months, but wonderful content. We are back with our friend for our Monday episode update, Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes. How are you, sir?
Doing as good as I can, bro. How about you?
I can't even put into words, bro. I'm here, and I'm focused on the work. If I try to focus on the work, anything else, I just get drained quickly, right? So I just try to focus on the work. Okay, so I say this every time we talk. I literally do. A lot has changed since the last time we have spoken.
Man.
A lot has changed. So, but let's first talk about the COVID-19 stuff, and let's address that, and then we'll get to all this other stuff that's happening. So COVID-19, it looks like the state is like, I don't want to say, is it plateauing to you, or is it, how would you call it?
I mean, we're approaching a better place, but like given the last couple of days, a lot of people out together, who knows what's going to happen in the next week or so. But things are getting to they were always headed towards a more manageable place, right? And that's what, Badger Bounce Back was about. And, the reason we had the physical distancing order, the safer home order. But, it's still something, it's still there. Like it's not going, like on top of everything else that we're dealing with, like it's still there in the background. And now it's taking a back seat. At first, as devastating as it was and it remains to be, it was in the front, but now it's like taking a back seat. And that's it's kind of frightening when you think about it, because I don't want people to forget about it. I don't want people just to relax themselves, thinking that, it's all good, or just totally forgetting about it. We're approaching 600 deaths now, and we are, these are the numbers as of, today, and we are almost at 19,000 confirmed cases, with like 140 yesterday. It was only 3+ deaths yesterday.
Yeah, and the hospitalization rates are still like up, right? They're still.
They're still
like, it's interesting. So I make the rate of infection is consistent, right? I know the people who are for opening up the economy would say we have more testing, so with more testing, the more people. Okay, say if I give you that argument, still doesn't explain hospitalization rates, man. It still doesn't explain that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, people can pick whatever part of the data that they want to. They want to parse it out, decentralize the data, and choose the most convenient piece to make their case. But you got to look at the aggregate data. You got to look at it all together, man. That's how you get a real picture. And and people are being disingenuous when they only pick the part that's convenient for them.
Right. Yeah. So, and I agree with you. Like all these protests happening, and one of my things is like, look at all these people around each other. Like social distancing is out the window. Mm-hmm. And, I'm hoping that will have a negative impact on us in a couple of weeks from now, that all these people are around each other. Hopefully, praying that it's not. But how are you guys doing for your metrics? Do you know, from a metrics perspective, are we meeting more of your metrics?
Badger Bounce Back plan. I actually got to go back to the Badger Bounce Back plan, man.
It's basically been bounced out.
Dude, man, so many other things getting bounced around. Like it's just wild, man. 'Cause that was. It still remains a priority, but like it's not. It's just.
I get it.
Yeah. I get it. I will have to go back to that and let you know about it, man.
But yep. So let's talk about. First, let's stand up so people can see your shirt. I want people to see what your shirt says. Let's build Black political power. That's a powerful shirt, man, especially for Lieutenant Governor to have be wearing that, man. What does that mean for you? I'm just curious.
Yeah, man. It means a lot for me. Understanding like just reasons why we're in this, why we do what we do, why you're doing what you're doing, and in a moment where people are crying out, people are looking for leadership, people are looking for answers. There are folks in political offices who make the decisions that lend possibility to the things that we see going on, meaning your mayors who we elect across the country appoint police chiefs, and those police chiefs decide who's going to be on the police force and who isn't. And it's important to have political power as a part of the answer to the crisis that we're dealing with. So when Black people are dying at a disproportionate rate, COVID-19 across America, if Black men are disproportionately victims of violence, it's important to answer that question in multiple ways. And one of the ways is absolutely protest, which is necessary. But there are other components too. We have to have a multi-pronged approach, and a part of that is building political power. And that goes for any marginalized community, any community that's been marginalized, whether it's the Native American community, whether it's the Latinx community, LGBTQ community. People need to rise up and bring power into their own hands, and also to have a voice at the table. This is not just about pushing people out. It's about having a voice at the table, man. It's about having a holistic perspective when decisions are being made, so that the mistakes of the past, of the generations, the mistakes since the inception of this country can be avoided. There are a lot of good intentioned people who are in there in decision making capacities, but don't hit the mark because they don't have a clue what's going on in the community that's not theirs.
Which leads us to Mr. Floyd getting killed, murdered in Minneapolis. Mm-hmm. What is your feeling on that? Because to me, it ties in some of this, comes to, I think some of the solutions is building political power for the Black base, right? So, but let's first address this man got killed by an officer, and while other officers stood by and watched him get killed. What's your feeling on that, Lieutenant Governor? How did that impact you?
Yeah, I mean, it impacted, like, I wouldn't even watch the video, man, to be honest with you. Like, I hearing the story is enough. Like, seeing the pictures is enough. Like, some of the things I saw, like, I would accidentally, like, the video would play while I was, scrolling online. But that's just one thing. I don't have it in me to continue watching stuff like that. We've seen it before. We've seen it too many times. And so his, which is, was more egregious than the last one, which was more egregious than the last one, which was more egregious than the last one. And it's like these things keep on playing out. So the way I feel about this one is the way I feel about the rest of unnecessary deaths of Black people at the hands of police. And it's about accountability, man. The reason people are marching is because they want things to be better. And now that cities are literally burning across the country, folks can see how this impacts their lives, because it's only so long people can feel this oppression and move forward without reacting. I can go to any part of the state and talk about the need for reform, and this is, and for people who even subscribe to the bad apples ideology, at some point, you look and think like, okay, well, it seems to be an inordinate amount of these bad apples. Well, that's because the growing conditions allow for more bad apples to persevere. And at some point think, oh, well, maybe it's just something in the groundwater. Maybe it's something institutional. We have to fix something. And it's important, like, recognizing that there are good cops, but those good cops have to play their role, and you have to be a good cop and call out the bad ones when they act poorly. Like, that's a part of policing. If you're gonna work to keep communities safe, you got to keep the community safe from everybody, even if it means that somebody who you work next to is making the community less safe.
Yes. And this is, so we did this town hall with police officers, the police chiefs, and the county sheriff maybe a week ago. Time flies. And the reason we did it, we got some flack from some of our community, and justifiably so. Like, you're giving these white police officers a platform to talk, mm-hmm. and you got to understand that, right? That's a legit argument to have. But we did it for just what you just said. Like, these people they have to let their officers know that this is not their culture. They have to know that this is not okay. and that they had to set the tone, and they need to apologize, but also set the tone internally for their own culture. Like, you need to let these officers know, like, if you're, we need to let them to know that if you're an officer and you see this happening, you better do something, right? And so I always wonder about the culture of the police and how do they swallow this stuff. But so let's go to the protest, right? So there is a protest happen, and at least here at the protest in Madison, they had a protest, and lots of people were there. Over 2,000 some people were there, maybe more than that. And then after about an hour after the protest, there's some violent, a majority white folks doing violence. And then I know some stuff happened in Milwaukee. So what do you think about, one, just the art of protesting, and then two, some of the negative stuff that came with it?
Mm-hmm. So as always, I think that in times like these, in times of crisis, that protest is necessary. But you see, when things get to the level that they've gotten to, you got to think about what brought it to that point. How bad did things have to be before it led to the destruction, right? And I say this time and time again, I hate to see a city on fire. I hate to see the level of chaos, but I also hate what got us to this point. You can look at this time. There was a particular instance in Minnesota. Officer Chauvin put his knee on this man's neck for almost 9 minutes, and he died. Right, we can point to all the chaos, everything, all the destruction you see in cities across America. You can literally pinpoint it to that instance. But it was more than just that instance. It was the culmination of things happening, be it armed robbery, be it Breonna, the woman in Louisville, Kentucky, Breonna, who, police went into her home. They weren't even at the right place. Right. This woman was shot and killed in her own home, right? This is a culmination. These things can't keep happening. Like, what do you expect? How do you expect people to react when they're going about their lives and they feel threatened? You put people in these sort of situations, and it's like it's volcanic.
What do you figure out right now that for Black leaders who are going through this time, who are emotionally drained? I mean, just COVID-19 is killing our folks, right? It's killing Black folks. I mean, most Black people know someone who's died from COVID-19 has been impacted, right? So you go through that, you go through Ahmaud, you go through Breonna, you go through Mr. Floyd. I mean, you go through the Christian brother in New York with the woman. I guess I mean, can you believe that happened, man?
Wait, the what?
The woman in New York, when the woman had the dog, and she called the police.
Yeah.
I'm laughing because it's so ridiculous that it happened. It's like unbelievable that all this has happened like in a span of 2 months. So this is a pressure that's been on Black people nonstop. But as leaders, we've been asked to deal with people like you, helping get the word out for COVID-19, being leaders, educating, all that stuff. Where are you as a leader right now, as a Black leader? Where are you feeling with all this stuff happening in such a short, intense window?
Yeah, man, it's tough, right? Because I know what side I'm on these issues, and sometimes it can be hard for people to even realize, right? There's so many emotions, even on the outside, from the same people who you're supporting, and it's like, oh, you're not doing enough, or it's like, man, literally, come shadow me, come work with me, because you will see what I'm trying to do. You will see what I'm attempting to do. It's like the work is very difficult. We have so many more considerations. And I felt this way even as a legislator. We have so much more as Black politicians, and when it comes to the needs that you have to respond to. And I remember talking to Mandela Cox in Milwaukee when I was still working in the mayor's office. This is back in 2009. And, you know, I asked her about what it was like. And she's like, well, it's different depending on who you are. And she's like, you know, my constituent caseload is not going to be the same as a constituent caseload as somebody on the southwest side of Milwaukee. It's going to be completely different. We'll get completely different phone calls. I could be up to 2 a.m. every morning just responding to my constituents. And some of them don't even have to work on weekends because what they, you know, who they represent, the areas that they represent are totally different. So it's, you know, people, there are far too many elected officials that can get away with ignoring this. And, you know, I wouldn't even want to ignore it. And I'll say too, like when we have other crises that face the state, you know, as a statewide elected official, it's my responsibility to respond to it. We have a dairy crisis in this state. It's my responsibility to respond to that. And it's also my responsibility to respond to other injustices that go on in predominantly communities of color. So, there are folks like who have served in statewide office before who could not care less, who would be just fine ignoring it, and they would get reelected every time and not have to deal with it, not have to bat an eyelash, and not even face repercussions for pretending like it didn't happen. And we still have people in office who still don't even understand. Like, you know, there are those who said, you know, people have to, you know, remove themselves from their comfort with racism. And I feel like, you know, how can you be comfortable at all with racism, right? You should be, you know, so uncomfortable with any act of injustice, especially racism, and people just still don't get it. Like they might tweet one thing and then just go back and do whatever else they were doing. And that's not truly responding to the crisis. That's not truly responding to the moment. So yeah, there is an extra weight that we have to carry. And you know what? I mean, yeah, it goes back to the whole thing. We ask for this. This is the work that we have to do. But I do ask for, you know, some patience, you know, with people when it comes to it, because it's not easy. You know, with COVID-19, with everything else going on around the state and the country, there's still governing to do. There are still schools trying to figure out how they're going to be funded. We still have higher education problems we have to worry about. We still have, you know, our issues in rural Wisconsin with the agriculture community. We still have, you know, everything else going on, like, you know, on top or at this point underneath the two biggest issues of the day.
Yeah, you know, I think expectations for black leaders is higher than most leaders.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yep. I'll let you finish. Yep.
Well, no, and I mean, and I was gonna say too, like, and I've mentioned before that, you know, the issues, I'll say as a Democrat, the issues, we'll say in a primary election, especially the issues that we're expected to carry, and you know, and this is how I felt anyway. Before I ever ran for office, I knew where I stood when it came to LGBTQ issues. I knew where I stood when it came to environmental issues. I knew where I stood when it came to women's choice issues, right? Can't push me from those. I am at the same place I was before I ran for office the first time. But racial justice never comes up in those conversations. And if it's a white person, you know, who's running for office, they can get away without having to answer the racial justice question. And for the length of time, the generations that people have failed to answer the racial justice question is what got us to this moment in the first place, because folks were able to sweep it under the rug and not worry about it, not concern themselves with it, because it didn't play well in certain communities, or it didn't impact certain communities. But now everybody's feeling it, everybody's seeing it, and people are scared. But people are only in this position because folks didn't take it seriously a long time ago.
Yeah, and that's true. And I also think for black leaders, it's like when President Obama, I think black folks expect you to be sometimes just the black president or the black lieutenant governor. And you can't be just a black lieutenant governor, right? You just can't be. You're black. Your experiences are black. You can have empathy to being a black person. You can have more empathy towards those issues, but you still have a whole other state, the constituency, to work for, right? And I think that's where a lot of black leaders in the positions of power and influence, they're not they're just not focused on the black stuff, and you know. So I feel the pain and the weight for a lot of the black leaders I talk to who are trying to do so much right now and are just burnt out, man. So my prayers are with you, because I think this is just the beginning of a long, long summer, and anything we can do to be supportive, man. But seriously, We're praying for you and take care of yourself. And on that note, what are you doing to take care of yourself? Are you can be back outside now? So you back? Are you running again?
I'm outside a little bit, man, just to get some fresh air. The weather is incredible, but I get out a little bit. But now it's like I'm always on call at the moment, so don't really get outside like that.
What about Netflix? What's watching?
Not Netflix. What was I watching? Oh man, I watched two things. I watched Harley Quinn, the first season. So Harley Quinn from Batman.
Yeah.
The Joker, like it's a cartoon. It comes on DC Universe on the app, but it's on Sci-Fi also. The first season is on Sci-Fi. It's out of control, man. It's out of control. It's got some voice acting by JB Smoove, Wanda Sykes.
What?
It's entertaining. I don't know if you're a Batman fan or not, but But Harley Quinn, it's a cartoon. I enjoyed the first season, but I finished Space Force in a day. That came on Netflix with Steve Carell.
Okay. Oh, it's a comedy, right? Yeah.
But it's actually like, so I went into it expecting it to be like real goofy. Like it had some goofy parts. Like I was looking for something mindless, to be honest. But it had a somewhat deep. I mean, not somewhat deep. It had a somewhat serious storyline.
Okay, well, so I'll have to just check that out. I mean, you kind of a cartoon head, like you kind of like you sort of like you last time you were talking about Airbender. Is that what it's called?
So, yeah, Avatar: Last Airbender.
Yeah,
so, a lot of people are watching that.
Yeah, I gotta. So when you got kids like me, man, dude, like any downtime you have, you gotta chase these babies around. So
yeah.
But I'll have to check those out. Those sound good. They sound good, like good shows.
Yeah.
You're smiling though, brother. So that's good. At least you're smiling a little bit, and keep the faith, keep the work up. Take care of yourself. Again, it's gonna be a long, long haul, and we need you to lead, man, and be the great leader that you are. So thank you for all you.
I appreciate it, man.
We'll see you next week, hopefully, brother. And who knows what happens by next week? My goodness. But we'll see you next week, brother. Have a good week.
I appreciate it, man. You too.
Yeah, thank you for joining us for another episode of Real Talk. We'll see you next time.